It has been a crazy month since we were all last here together, hasn't it? Did anyone see the space launch? That was wild. For 4 nights preceding, we fall asleep to Black Lives Matter, peacefully protesting, and wake up to rioting. Our screens are flooded with images of graffitied, boarded up buildings, smoke from tear gas and fires, and swollen, bruised bodies shot repeatedly by rubber bullets. And all of this is just weeks after the Michigan state capitol is swarmed with white men carrying automatic weapons and screaming spittle into the faces of unarmed cops, and no one is arrested or sanctioned. And then it's Saturday morning, and here we are in sunny Florida. Did you notice how fucking white and shiny everything was? It was so bright, I almost had to shield my eyes from the television. It felt like it was happening on a whole other planet or something. It was surreal. And the whole time I can hear Gil Scott-Heron rapping in my head about his sister's infected rat bite. Can't pay for doctor, water, or electric, but Whitey's on the moon. 10 years from now, he says, I'll be paying still while Whitey's on the moon or the space station. Do you know when Gil wrote that song? That was 50 years ago. Who ever dreamed it would still be true today? And that was the same year as the first Gay Pride March. Now, that march started with a police raid on a gay bar a year earlier this month. Raids were nothing unusual in those days, but for some reason on this night, the crowd didn't disperse. Maybe someone resisted arrest. A bottle might have been thrown. And before long, several cops had to barricade themselves inside the bar while the patrons were outside banging on the door and screaming for blood. A dam broke open that night, and all the fear and rage and false shame that had been bottled up for so long just exploded through the crowd, and what would later become known as the Stonewall Uprising had begun. And for the next 5 nights, activists kept coming out, showing up, and getting organized. And they effected a lot of big changes over the years. Today, Pride is a worldwide event, and LGBTQ across the globe have more rights than ever before. Another thing that's celebrated this month is Juneteenth, June 19th. Now, that's the day that slaves in Texas first were told that the Emancipation Proclamation had declared them free 2.5 years earlier. And that was 155 years ago. And Black people are still fighting and dying for justice. Hell, they're dying just trying to live their lives. How telling is it that Derek Scott was killed a year, almost to the day before George Floyd, by different cops hundreds of miles apart. And the last words either of them uttered were, "I can't breathe." And right now, Black Lives Matter is making a real difference. They're affecting policy around policing and sentencing. In several places, cops are laying down their weapons and taking a knee. NASCAR has finally banned the Confederate flag, and propaganda in the form of statues is being removed from public spaces all over the country. All sorts of people are coming out for Black Lives Matter, opening our hearts and our minds to the realities of systemic racism. And several LGBTQ groups have dedicated this year's Pride events to Black Lives Matter, because that is what community looks like, sacrificing our own privilege to make the world better for everyone. And still, just 10 days ago, another Black man, Rayshard Brooks, was shot in the back by police, and lynching seems to be making a comeback. Our president told hospitals and healthcare workers that they don't have to save the lives of trans people. And there are still 2 million people living without access to clean water. And there are still children in cages. And with 16 million people unemployed, this may be our best opportunity to fight for systemic change. Now, storytelling has long been used as a tool for social justice and community building, for seeking out common ground, and for celebrating our differences. Storytelling and activism go hand in hand. So for the foreseeable future, Stories at a Distance is committed to bringing you the stories of the voiceless. We're launching this agenda with Duke City Story Slam's tradition of honoring LGBTQ during Pride Month. Our theme tonight is coming out and opening up, a theme that means more now than we ever imagined it could a month ago. We're also offering an honorarium by paying our featured tellers and by asking you, our audience, to pay it forward. Each featured teller has selected a charity, and we would like you to show your appreciation and solidarity by making a donation to those charities tonight. Thank you.